Hey everybody, it's Roberto. So I'm doing this live stream. It's not a webinar. It's nothing related to the business and to the Create Awesome business itself, but it is a part of the Create Awesome philosophy that I felt it was important to talk about. And the reason I decided to do a live stream was even though I could vlog and just post it with no actual cutting and editing and just the color grading, and I really only cut just so I can scratch my face or I can drink some water or something like that anyway. The reason that I'm doing the live stream vlog is just because I wanted to get my own completely 100% unfiltered thoughts and show you guys what my unfiltered, unrehearsed, unscripted view on certain things are, and also maybe help some of you overcome the limiting beliefs, the things that are stopping you, the things in your own mind that are keeping you from the success that you want, fulfilling the dreams that you want, and creating the value that everyone in the world really needs from you. And I just wanted to talk about that. So something that I learned personally was that there are people who have been impacted very dramatically by things that I've done, content that I've made, words that I've put out to encourage them, and things that I've said or things that I've educated them on that allowed them to be successful. And when I think about all the people who have ever been negative to me or ever told me I wasn't going to be successful or ever said something hypercritical or wrong about what I was doing or told me that I was wrong for doing what I was doing, and I think about the fact that it might have robbed someone else of the opportunity to do better in life because someone told them to hang on or that was okay or that I believe in you or to create something awesome today, that it's made a difference. It's made a difference. And I don't say that as a humble brag. I say that as the motivation and the thing that I feel the most guilty about is when I feel that if there's a day that I miss a video, I feel guilty. If I don't reply to somebody, I find out that it's been weeks or months and they were waiting for an answer from me. Even if I give them the answer and it was an eventually thing, I feel guilty about that. I feel bad. And the reason I do is because I've seen the difference that it can make. And I know that a difference was made for me by other people who put things out there that encouraged and inspired me, by people who took the time to answer my questions, respond to me, by people who took the time to train me, to teach me, the time that my mom took in making sure that she educated me beyond what I was getting when I came home from school every day for like the first 13 years of my life, the sacrifices that were made for me to get a computer at like 13, 14 years old, learn HTML code, learn video editing, learn all the things that built the framework of the success that I live off of today. When I think about that and the fact that if someone took to heart that, well, you're wrong, or don't do that, or I'm not confident enough to speak to that, or I can't help that person, or who am I to give advice? If anybody who affected my life believed that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I think that it's important for all of you to respect your purpose and the value that you create and respect yourself enough to know that you can make a difference in someone's life, and that every day that you don't make a difference in someone else's life and a difference in your own life, that you're robbing yourself and you're robbing other people of value. I want all of you to ask yourself honestly today, if you did something that will change your life tomorrow or a year from now or 10 years from now. Because when I wake up every day, I'm trying to do things that will change my life 30 days from now, whether I know it or not, a year from now, whether I know it or not, and hopefully change someone else's life and make it somewhat better, even if it's just meaning that they had a good day today. That's why I do things like the show that I'm doing with Ask Roberto over on Facebook, where I'm going to answer one person's question directly, and that'll be the whole video. Is that so that person, if they had something they wanted to ask and they wanted more than just whatever I can give in a comment or an email, they want a direct answer, or more that I can give in a Twitter video response, I can create that value for them and I can give them an answer that might be the difference between them executing on something that will change their life over the course of 30 days, a year from now, whatever it is. So that's the reasoning behind doing things like that. The reason I do the YouTube channel and I promote the video content on a constant basis is I'm hopefully solving a problem that somebody somewhere had and giving them relatable, actionable advice or information or education that will make a difference for them. I answer the comments for the same reason. So when I do those things, those are the reasons, but it's not really, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about why you need to respect yourself and respect your dreams. Because the thing is, if I didn't believe enough in myself and I didn't respect the fact that what I'm doing has value for other people, and I didn't respect the relationship that I built with them, or I didn't feel confident in myself to get on camera and to do this stuff, whether it's live or whether it's recorded and edited, then I'm looking at the responses, I'm looking at the relationships that I have and that they wouldn't exist now. And that's very scary for me. That's very scary to think that there was a chance that I could have listened to some negative person and not done this stuff. And then we'd all be very different. We'd all be very different. Whatever value I might have created for you wouldn't have been there. You would have had to find somewhere else, hopefully, or if not. And then for me, my life would be very different. I would still be a wage slave somewhere, possibly, or maybe my entrepreneurship would have went to the dark side, and I would have done something, shady or grimy to be successful. Maybe I'd be like a scumbag, lawyer or something. Not that all lawyers are scumbags or anything, but I might be that. People encouraged me to be that. So it's just, you have to respect your dreams enough to commit to them. You have to respect your dreams enough to work hard at them. You have to respect your dreams enough to cut the people out of your life that are not in support of your dreams, or not having a healthy amount of skepticism enough to steer you in the right direction and away from dangerous things, but still believe in you overall. So I think it's important that you cut the negative people out of your life that are not in support of your dreams and want to tear you down, not because they're fearful for you in a protective way, but because they don't want to believe that you can be successful, or they want to project their fears or their experiences onto you. And for some of you, that's going to be hard, because for some of you, it might be parents, or it might be people that you really respect. But the reality is that the world some of those people came up in doesn't exist anymore. So their advice, it's not that it's irrelevant, it's that it may not fit the context of what your situation is. A college degree for them might have been the right move. But for you today, it's very hard to sell an employer on your college degree in a market where everyone has one, where there are people with master degrees that are still like looking for jobs and going and begging like Oliver Twist with a bowl of gruel for an opportunity. And on the other hand, there are people who are, leaving college and, being successful and crushing it and doing the thing that they love. And the other thing I would say is you could do something you hate and make 30, 40, $50,000, or you can do something you love today and make 30, 40, $50,000 and have a living. And, that might not be wealth, but there's plenty of people who are winning with that kind of income in life and doing the things that they want to do and spending time with their family or whatever. And you could do that doing something you love, or you could do that doing something you hate. And I think you have to respect that fact, because I make more now doing what I love versus things that I would have hated to do. And I think that that is like tremendous for me, and you all are a part of that. But at the same time, I had to respect myself enough to put in the work that that would take, and I had to commit. I had to give up things. I had to give up playing video games super intensely. I had to give up consuming content that was, just recreational on as much of a regular basis. I mean, I still watch Game of Thrones, but that's, like 1 hour, 10 weeks out of the year. So, I mean, you have to look at what you really want, what you're willing to give up to get what you really want, and what you're willing to invest your time in, and what really matters to you. And if you have a dream that you really want to accomplish, then you should respect that dream enough to give up things that don't matter. If your dream is to be a famous photographer, then maybe you should be buying a camera lens and not a pair of Jordans. If your dream is to be, a great artist, maybe you should be investing in whatever courses or classes that is, and not buy an Xbox One. And I know that that's not everybody's situation. I have nothing against anybody who needs to entertain themselves or distract themselves. And I know that everyone needs a break, and not everyone can be working 18 hours a day. I shouldn't be working 15, 16, 18 hours a day sometimes. And I don't always do that. I did go on vacation the other day, week. And you guys, some of you saw my my trips and my stuff from DC and when I went to Virginia Beach or whatever. But my point with that is that you have to be willing to commit to the hustle that will have the outcome that you want. You have to say, if you're willing to quote unquote kill for your dream or slay dragons or monsters or whatever it is, and you say that now, but you're not willing to put in 12 hours of work, or you're not willing to go to bed an hour later and wake up an hour earlier, can you say that you really are respecting your dream? Can you say that you really want it badly enough if you're not willing to be uncomfortable? Because I think that's the biggest issue, is that people are not willing to be uncomfortable to get the things that they say they want. You'll say you want something, but are you really willing to be uncomfortable to get it? Are you willing to put in the sweat? Are you willing to give up your recreational things or your hobbies? Are you willing to spend less time dating? Are you willing to really just do what is required to get the outcome that you want in life. You say you want to be a millionaire. Okay, fine. Are you willing to get the emotional punch in the face of 100 failures of launches and products if that's what it's going to take to be a millionaire? Are you willing to fail for 10 years in a row? Are you willing to have to move back into your home with your parents, sell all your worldly goods and possessions to have the chance to do that? Because if you're not willing to be that uncomfortable, if you're not willing to be that embarrassed, if you're not willing to scale down your lifestyle and suffer for 10 years to have the eventual win, and I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm saying if you're not willing to do that, can you say that you want it enough right now? And is it the right dream if you can't say that? Because if you want something badly enough, within reason, there won't be limits to what you're willing to go through, suffer through, put up with, put in the work to do to accomplish it. To be good at Photoshop, I had to be putting in hours upon hours, tens, hundreds of hours of producing crap to be good at Photoshop. The end result and outcome of that was that a few years ago, I got to work at a great ad agency for what it was in that time in my career in New York and produce work for HBO and other places and see my work in Times Square on billboards as a result of suffering through the ridicule and all the hurtful comments and deviant art of all the crap that I was producing for years until I got to the level of being able to do that. So that was the outcome of the suffering of the emotional jabs in the face of not giving up on my dream and respecting my dream enough to take all the criticism in the world, all the hurt in the world, all the you suck, give up, shoot yourself. The comments were harsh. And some of them, I look back and that was just people being trolls. But are you willing to put up with trolls? Are you willing to put up with haters? Are you willing to put up with people disrespecting your dream? Are you going to respect your dream enough to put up with all the disrespect in the world? And I'm not going to get political, but I'm going to put something out there just for context and for scale, is that you're probably not going through what it took for Barack Obama to become president of the United States, because think about the fact that millions of people voted against him and said no. Millions of people are not telling you no. So if you're not hurt enough and not getting abused by millions of people talking about you, criticizing you, making caricatures of you, and telling you that you're the Antichrist, then you're not being disrespected and hurt enough to give up on your dream. If you're not being bullied enough, if you're saying that you're being bullied out of your dream, you're not being bullied to the tune of millions upon millions of people. You're not doing that. You're not taking hits from hundreds or thousands of people in social media, like some of the most successful people in YouTube to get criticism. PewDiePie is taking literally tens of thousands of people and even media networks criticizing him because he made millions doing something that he loved, gaming and building a community around it. You're not taking that abuse. So if you're taking abuse from a handful of people, a dozen people, 24 people, and that's enough to make you give up, you have to ask yourself if you're being soft. You do. I mean, you have to ask yourself if you respect your dream enough. And I'm not saying that to be harsh or to be mean or to make you give up. I want you to really just think about the fact that, are you really making excuses for why you're not, on the road to being what you want to be? I want you to do that honest self-audit, because I think that you have it in you. I believe enough in you to say, and to encourage you to take that push to say, look at what is on the table. Look at the potential upside of what you could accomplish. You could be living your dream. You could be doing the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life. Now, look at the negative of that, of the criticism, of the abuse, of the disrespect, of the prospect of failing. Isn't the win more valuable? And isn't that like worth a lot more if you are successful? Think about if you do win, what that looks like and what your life looks like, versus if you quote unquote just have what you have now. How uncomfortable is that? And aren't you living through that every day? How bad is that? And can't you take a little more damage? Can't it be a little worse and it be worth the possibility of this? So I want you to really think about that. I want you to really think about, are you respecting your dream enough? And are you respecting yourself enough? Are you respecting yourself enough? Are you doing the things that are going to make you successful? Are you surrounding yourself with positive people? Or are you surrounding yourself with people that you know and that you're just comfortable with because you're afraid to make new connections, build new relationships, be part of a tribe of people that might be able to give you the love and the support and the encouragement you need to be successful, but you're afraid to make that connection? You're afraid to reach out to them. You're afraid to be rejected. Aren't you being rejected by people you already know? So what's the difference? Because the difference is that the possibility of unconditional acceptance, or the appropriate amount of acceptance, the appropriate amount of support, is on the table. But then the same kind of rejection you're already getting is also something you're already dealing with. What's one more? So, I mean, what's the hesitation there? The worst someone's going to do is say no, or I don't like you, or criticize you. And you already have dealt with that. You've already survived that. So how is it that bad? How is that worth avoiding the possibility of the win? The thrill of victory has to trump the anxiety of feeling defeated. It just does, or you're always going to feel defeated. You have to decide that you believe enough in the prospect of you being a winner to risk failure and to say that that's okay. Because if nothing else, you're not going to be that much worse off than you already are. And if you're where you already are is uncomfortable enough, how uncomfortable are you willing to be in order to not be uncomfortable again in the same way ever? Are you willing today? If I told you that today you had to begin a work day of 24 hours nonstop, but the result was going to be you were going to get what you need and want to not have to work for the next 6 months, and know that all of your everything in life is taken care of for you for the next 6 months if you get through this 24-hour crucible? Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to do that to buy back? Would you be willing to suffer for 24 hours of just labor, not torture, labor, to buy back the next 6 months of your time, of your life, to do whatever you want, whether that's the running of your business, the philanthropy that you want to do, the adventuring and world globetrotting that you want to do, or spending that time for 6 months with your family? Would you do a 24-hour workday of the hardest work you've ever done in your life to get that outcome? And the reality is, I bring that up is because for many of you, that's all it would take. Many of you are so talented without realizing it that you could work for 24 hours or for 30 days and create something so amazing that creates so much value that you would not have to worry about the next 6 months of your life if you would just commit to finishing and creating that awesome thing, creating something awesome today or over the course of a month. You could do that. And that could be you writing your book, writing your e-course, building your online brand, building a product, any number of things, launching a podcast, launching a YouTube channel. There's so many success stories and so many people that are so less talented than many of you watching this that have changed their lives and the lives of other people, that who are you to disrespect yourself enough to say that that can't be your success story and they were somehow more exceptional than you? Everyone starts at zero. Gary Vee says this very clearly, and I absolutely believe it. I wish I'd come up with it myself, but everyone starts at zero. It's absolutely true. Everyone starts with 0 Twitter followers, 0 YouTube subscribers, 0 money in the bank. Well, I mean, I won't go where there was 0 money in the bank, because some people don't start with that, and that's another thing that I won't get into. But my point is that everyone has to start somewhere, and there's no reason for you to believe that you can't be successful if you're willing to commit to an outcome that is successful. If you say to yourself that I have, and what is success? Because it might not be doing $1 million or 6 figures. It might be 30,000 that you need to live off of, or 20,000 you need to live off. It might be this, that you do the thing that you felt was your dream in life. Maybe it's writing that book. Maybe it's creating your masterpiece. Maybe it's maybe your goal in life is nothing more than finding the right person. And if you're not putting yourself out there, and you're not going out and going to the places where that right person for you is, do you have the right to complain about being single? And I just bring that up to say that for some people, that's the answer, is that, well, for me, if I wish I had more friends. Are you going to places where there are like-minded people that would be willing to embrace you? And are you not doing that? Because if you're not putting in that work, you can't complain about not having friends. If you're not putting in the work, you can't complain about the relationship you don't have. If you're not putting in the work, you can't complain about the income that you don't have. You have to respect yourself enough to believe that you can work toward the outcome that you want and have the thing that you deserve. And I want that for you. But the question is, do you want it enough for yourself to go through what it takes? And do you respect your dream enough to not give it up in the face of criticism or the doubt of people who don't even understand it? So many of you listen to people, your designers, your artists, your writers, your filmmakers, and you're listening to people who are doctors and lawyers and accountants that don't know what it takes and how talented you actually are. They just see you with something like that you want to do that's fun and cool, and they don't respect it, but it's not their skill set and talent. So who are they to tell you you can't do it? It'd be like you telling them that they don't have the chops to do their job. You know, who are you to tell them that? No one has the right to disrespect your dream. So why are you letting them convince you to disrespect your dream? Because you're the only one who has that right. And I would argue that you don't even have that right, because by disrespecting your dream, you're robbing value from the people who would benefit from whatever you're putting out in the world. So I would say that if nothing else, you should feel more guilty than you do fearful of the fact that there might be tens of thousands of people who could be affected in a positive way by what you have to offer. And you are giving up on yourself, and you're also, as a result, then giving up on them and robbing them. And who are you to do that? So that would be that my a little bit of an aggressive jab towards you to kind of motivate you, is that if for nothing else, if you won't help yourself, think about who you can fill a void for. Think about who you would love to help not go through something that you experienced in life, because that's all I'm doing. All I'm doing is trying to influence the creative culture and help as many people as I possibly can in my lifetime with whatever grains of sand in the hourglass have been allotted to me. And I don't think I'm going anywhere. But if I did, that sucks. But thankfully, I put out hundreds of pieces of content that might help people even after I'm gone. And it would just really suck if I can't do 1,000, 10,000 pieces of content, 1,000,000 pieces of content before I go. But whatever. I'm doing what I think the legacy needs to be, of the fact of, did I influence the creative culture of people to help them believe in themselves, execute on what they need to? Did I set a good example? And did I help elevate people instead of putting them down? And I feel confident to say that I did that. And I feel confident to say that if I went out today and didn't come back, that I've left a legacy of positive influence and change in the world to the tune of tens of thousands of people that have been helped, and that's a good way to leave the world. And it may not be a net gain of the world being better than how I found it, just because, the scale of what things are. And I may not scale to making the dent in the universe that Steve Jobs did or that Mark Zuckerberg did, but oh well. I did my part. And I think that all of us need to respect ourselves enough to put in the work to do our part, and we need to respect other people enough to realize that our purpose has value beyond ourselves and that our dreams are worthwhile. So I would encourage you to respect yourself, respect your dream, respect your purpose, and realize that you are responsible for the difference in the impact or the lack of it that you put into the world and that you make in the world. I would say that you need to find in yourself the empathy to help people beyond yourself, and that will grow you as a person, and that anything you're struggling with will be dealt with and addressed and amplified by the void that you're trying to fill and the people that you're trying to help. And I say that not to be trite. I say that not to be on some moral high horse. I say that just to say that I've learned more by being a teacher. I've learned more and learned more about myself and become more self-aware by connecting with and engaging with all of you in the comments and the personal relationships we've had, the people that have connected in Facebook and in Twitter and in Google Plus and in Instagram. I've gotten benefit in my life from some of you, not only in the things that you've decided to do to help me, but also in just knowing you as people. A lot of you are so amazing, and I feel gifted, I feel privileged, I feel blessed to know you. And I'm not just saying that because some of you made a real difference in my life. Some of you helped me on my bad days remember why I do what I do and who I really am, because it's hard. No matter how charismatic you think you are, no matter how confident you think you are, there will be bad days and it's hard. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself with the right people and the right community of people that will encourage you and support you and respect your dreams and your goals and help you in your achievement of that. And you owe it to other people to pay it forward and to help them too, because somewhere, someone on this earth helped you, and you need to pay that forward by helping others. I genuinely believe that. And I think that that's the fundamental core of the Create Awesome philosophy: in create awesome things, share them with the world, create value for other people, create awesome experiences for everyone in your life. I truly believe in that. I live that every day. You guys see that here every day on the channel. And those of you who end up seeing Meerkat, or that know me in real life, you know that I'm philosophically consistent in that way, and that I want everybody to believe enough in themselves to say that they have something awesome to offer and to execute on that and to really put it out there, because the world won't be the same if they do. And if enough people want to create value and create awesome experiences, understand this. Understand that we all live in the world that we agreed to. We all, and the circumstances in the world are what everyone agreed to. If we all decided literally tomorrow that the world was going to be different, it would be different if we committed to it. If we really, really wanted to commit to living in a more awesome world, we could do that tomorrow. We really could. So I want everyone to take responsibility for their dreams in life. I want everyone to take responsibility for the value they're creating in the world. I want people to take responsibility for the experiences that other people have by interacting with them. And a lot of that means that you have to create something awesome today. You have to. You have to think about how you can help yourself, how you can help others, and what the awesome experience you deserve in life is, and how you bring that into fruition through a commitment of your actions, and also by protecting your mind and your mentality and believing that you're a winner and then acting like one. If you are trying to win, the first thing you have to do is start acting like someone who wins. And someone who wins bets on themselves. And what that means is that when someone else tells you you can't, you say, good, go ahead and doubt me because I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to double down and I'm going to be successful because if nothing else, I need to prove that you don't know who I am and that I know who I am. So I would encourage you to do that. When you are met with criticism, when you're met with negativity, when it's constructive, and when you know that you're not self-aware of your flaws, or if you've been told you're not self-aware of your flaws, constructive criticism is actionable. Constructive criticism is something to the tune of, you know, I really think that you spend too much time in front of the computer and it's bad for your eyes. I know you have to work hard, but try and take 90-minute breaks and get up and get your blood flowing and blink a little bit so that you don't go blind. That's constructive criticism. So it's actionable and it's well-intentioned. So identify constructive criticism versus negativity and someone just trying to slam you and someone just trying to cut you down. Understand that when they do that, it won't be actionable and it won't be well-intentioned, and it'll be very clear that it's not. So you will know the difference. And I would say that's important that you really understand that difference. So I'm going to actually wrap this up so that I can actually get back to executing on the awesome things that I need to do for everybody and for clients and for myself. And I'm going to leave you with some final thoughts. I want you to really think about somebody that you can help today by creating something awesome for them. I want to challenge you to do that. And I want to know what you are struggling with and what is holding you back in terms of mentality and in terms of thought process. What is keeping you from creating something awesome? What is keeping you from looks like I'm having technical difficulties here. That's what happens when you do things live. Sometimes things happen. All right, we're back. Okay, so where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I was leaving you guys. I was like signing off. All right, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, unedited, unfiltered, despite whatever technical difficulties. And as always, you guys, create something awesome today.